Hi guys, welcome to another edition of Daily Iowan TV. Matside, your one-stop shop for everything Iowa wrestling. Alongside Cody Goodwin and Danny Payne, I'm Kevin Glick. Iowa took on Wisconsin in their last regular season duel. It was a pretty easy win for Iowa, so let's take a look at how it happens. Iowa heading to the UW Fieldhouse to take on the Badgers, and they get a really good start from Corey Clark at 125.
Indeed they do. Corey Clark wrestling a top 10 opponent in Ryan Taylor of Wisconsin. You see Corey's able to flip him over. He's able to readjust and be patient enough to get that fall right there. Iowa up 6-0 right out of the gate. You see all the Hawkeye fans there in Madison loving what they're getting out of their lighter weights.
And Corey Clark running off, and Tony Ramos would follow up Corey Clark with the same result.
Absolutely, you would. You see Tony here running a bar arm on the backup 133-pounder for Wisconsin. We're hoping that he would wrestle Tyler Graff, who kind of a neat little rivalry they have there between Ramos and Graff. But Ramos getting the backup makes quick work of him there, a third period fall.
Derek St. John, you're not going to see it here. He dropped his match 3-1 to Isaac Jordan, so it was 15-7 heading into the intermission, and they got right back on track at 165 with Nick Moore.
That's right, Kevin. Here's Nick Moore and Ben Cox wrestling. See, Moore's going to shoot in on Cox's left leg, trip him for the takedown. He would finish with an 18-4 major. Tallied a ton of takedowns. This will go right to Mike Evans. Evans battling here with Legal of Wisconsin. So you flip him over. Evans is going to turn here for the 2-point takedown. That was in the third period. That's the only takedown Evans had in that match.
Well, it was 22-7 at that point, and Ethan Lofthouse pretty much sealed up the win for Iowa.
Absolutely, he did. There was still a slim chance that Wisconsin could come back against Iowa, but Ethan Lofthouse put that to rest. A quick 11-5 decision over Iskowski of Wisconsin. You see here Lofthouse picking up a single, able to trip him down, get the easy two. Lofthouse recorded 3 takedowns in his match, an 11-5 decision. Iowa ultimately taking the duel 28-10. Tom Brands kind of happy, but kind of not at the end of the duel is what he had to say.
We like to duplicate Nick Moore and Tony Ramos, and we got to put more points in the board, and our guys know they have firepower. It has to be realized, and it's realized when it becomes like lopsided and things start to open up. But when the strategy is to keep it close so their guy can have a chance, and I'm not just talking about Wisconsin, I'm talking about anybody in the country that needs to keep it close, wants to keep it close. We struggle with that. And we got to give ourselves more opportunities, and that's the bottom line. So that's what we got to have happen. We got to create more opportunities, and when we get to those opportunities, we got to convert.
Tom, obviously a little bit upset on the amount of offense that there was. Danny wasn't there.
He was after the duel. I mean, Iowa had 18 takedowns in only 5 matches. That's obviously great, but over other 5 matches for the Hawkeyes, a big fat 0 on the takedown category.
Yeah, they'll have to clean that up, especially with bonus points being a key thing in the postseason. But speaking of the postseason, Iowa won their 6th Big Ten regular season title out of the last 7 years, and you did a little bit of research, Cody. How does this team compare to previous years?
Well, this is the second time in that span, or at least the second time since 2003 that Iowa's actually gotten a co-share of the Big Ten regular season title. This year they split it with Minnesota and Penn State, which is actually kind of funny because Iowa actually lost to both of those teams, but because Penn State wasn't a Big Ten duel, a sanctioned conference duel, Iowa kind of lucked into a share of the trophy. But again, in 2003 was the last time they were co-champions. Iowa actually went on to finish 2nd place at the Big Tens behind Minnesota, but then dropped off all the way to 8th place at the NCAA tournament. Only brought home 3 All-Americans. The most notable, heavyweight Steve Mocco won a national title that year. But other years when Iowa won the Big Ten regular season title, especially 2008 to 2010, they actually went on to win both the Big Ten and NCAA championships. In 2011, when they won it outright, they ended up 3rd at NCAA's, and in 2013, just last year, they ended up 4th. So maybe the regular season I wouldn't say is very indicative of how Iowa's going to go forward in the postseason. But if there's one thing that is really common, it's that these guys really do get up for the Big Ten tournament. Last year when they won it outright, they ended up having a lead at the Big Ten tournament in team points after the first session. So if there's one thing I know, Tom may not be very happy with the offense, like Danny pointed out, but at the same time, there is still time to fix a few things to make a run at the both Big Ten and NCAA tournaments.
Iowa heading back to Madison in 2 weeks on March 8th and March 9th for the Big Ten title. We'll have all you need in terms of a preview on next week's episode. But for now, we're signing off. For Danny Payne, Cody Goodwin. I'm Kevin Glick, and we'll see you next week.